Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome back to the Naughty or Nice series, episode 2, here in World of Warships, with your host, myself, FlimsyLunchTray. And this one takes place on the EU server. As I was playing a bit of ranked, I'm really close to picking up enough steel to pick up Stalingrad on my EU account. So I'm only a couple hundred steel away. So I decided I would play some ranked, as it were. So we are going to have a decently good battle here in the Iparenga. That's what I'm going to call the name of the ship. And we're actually going to swap flanks. Originally I was going to go up to C, but seeing the fellow twin going up to C, I was like, okay, never mind. I will just go to A then. And then our Bismarck hasn't seemed to make up his mind yet. He just seems to be selling straight for the time being. So if you're new to this series, essentially this series covers players who are essentially nice or they're naughty by activity, whether you see it in the game commentary or in the battle itself by certain behaviors exhibited. So there are, I should say there's 2 stars in today's show, maybe even 3. You have, I'll say 3 is an honorable mention, but the stars of today's show is going to be the Bismarck and the Akazuki that I'm here with on the A flank. And the notable mention is the HMS Kosik up at C. He's going to be doing some good stuff up there. So, but pay attention to more the Bismarck, I would say, in terms of his positioning, and as you look at the mini map, and then when the time comes, you'll know whether we have a naughty or nice video for you today. So when you're playing ranked, especially with brawling battleships, I think I'm going to do a kind of a intermediate guide video on brawling and ranked. And it can just be summed up by, if you have enemy ships pushing into you, especially enemy brawling battleships, you just want to kite them. Keep them within secondary range, and you basically dictate the terms of the engagement. If the enemy ship pushing into you gets tired of pushing into you, he turns out, he goes broadside, and you can slap him with your main battery. These ships have the F gimmick button where it increases the secondary reload time, the damage, and the range. So it kind of makes Iparenga this brawling battleship where you can actually stay outside the secondary ranges of other enemy battleships, unless there's also like an enemy Iparenga like you see ahead here. You can stay outside like a Bismarck's and Anhalt's secondary range while you're doing secondary damage to them when activating that F key, or unless per se they don't build into their secondary battery. So this Anhalt is going to be donating a lot for us this game. He has this condition known as must show broadside most times of this engagement. So you see our Bismarck is actually pushing down the 5 line. Now he's kind of gone mid, and it looked like he was going to go up to C, but then decided to change his mind. We have to be mindful of the Akazuki here as well. Myself and the Akazuki player are just going to kite here. What I'd like to do here, so we had our secondaries on the Akazuki, and now we're going to switch them back to Iparenga, if I remember to do so. And when you have 2 battleships pushing in like this, you just want to be kiting them and further away. So I'm checking the torque range on some of the ships there, and I was surprised actually how hard the Anhalt torps hit. They're like 20,000 damage or something like that. So we want to be mindful. So we take a double fire, so we're going to activate our DCP in our repair party, and we're just going to keep moving further back away. So the Iparenga is like, nah, I'm going to check out, but the Anhalt again is showing us a nice broadside after we had that 17k damage salvo. And we're going to get a 13k damage salvo here as well. One of the reasons why I'm playing the way I'm right now is, the Anhalt is donating a lot of hit points to me, so I don't need to push into that. And I don't really want to push into Iparenga's secondary battery. And I also have to be mindful there's an Akazuki out here between A and B. And if I'm the Akazuki, I'm actually going to want to move in closer to A. Like, that's kind of like a typical play. Akazuki could double back and help shoot our Bismarck. It's 14k. But what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to bait the Torps out of the Akazuki and make him use his main battery torpedo reload booster. So, so you're seeing a little bit of naughtiness in chat already. The Bismarck player is asking for intelligence data, and it's like when he asked for it, I mean, both battleships were spotted. They were just behind the big island. So he's kind of positioned himself in a way where he's coming in around behind them. And actually, he's pushing into Iparenga right now, and we keep chunking an Anhalt here. And I think, honestly, it's quite hard to brawl push in, like in a Bismarck into Iparenga, because of the rear turret firing angles are better than Bismarck. And then just having, you know, a bit harder hitting secondaries, if you will, in addition to good built-in propulsion, rudder shift, which we're trying to use a lot here in the game. So the Anhalt is continuing to show a lot of broadside. I don't know if we'll get as big of a damage salvo here because he starts turning it out. Yeah, just 1700. But I also have to be mindful of the torpedo threat. So I'm kind of playing here long. And I think now I just go ahead and make a decision. Okay, I think I've baited the Akazuki Torps long enough that they should be coming already. And then our Akazuki picks up the enemy Akazuki. And then, so I'm going to immediately switch my secondaries and my main battery focus because I want my Akazuki to come out on top in this engagement. And there's one Torp rack from the Akazuki. And Akazuki keeps blind firing and he gets the kill. That's awesome. And then there's that second Torp rack. So he did awesome there. It was a really good exchange there. So now that we've taken away the Akazuki threat, that was kind of playing this role of preventing us from pushing back in, and as much as the Anhalt was doing broadside, there was really no need for me to push into that, right? When things are going well, you're on top trading, enemy team keeps making mistakes, that's great, and letting my Akazuki come up the one line and reposition and push back in, then we can do it together. So that works out great for us. I'm going to keep focusing the Anhalt. He's low, he's probably going to get a heal off. But I want to keep him low so we can get rid of him and kill him. So then that will open up things for me taking on the enemy Iparenga, because it's very unlikely that our Bismarck is going to survive. In the meantime, notice up north, it's just our Kolsik now. So he's lost both of the teammates up there. So he's going to be doing good stuff for us as the team in that regard. So now the Bismarck asks for help. He's pushed in so deep, 17 point whatever kilometers away. Not really much I can do, and I was like, well, I can't really help. Like, you're all the way back there. Like, I'll try to finish off the Anhalt as I've been working on, and we've got our F key back, so I can use that when the time comes. Press the C key, shift our main battery turret focus towards the front. You know, and once we've got A, so now we get to come up and cap B. So now we get to pay attention to the chat. What do you think Bismarck might have to say? Anhalt goes dark. And what happens here? Yeah, he goes broadside again. So we get the Citadel. We get the kill there. That's great. Now it's just Iparenga. So between me and Akazuki, we should easily have this engagement. There's the Bismarck. So I literally just kind of like laughed out loud. And then Akazuki, he was kind of saying it up straight to the Bismarck earlier when Bismarck was like asking for intelligence data and support. But, you know, he's saying no, he wasn't running away. And then, you know, I respond, you know, you YOLO and then suicide and blame me. Cool. You know, like, you can't help players who do that in this game. And after like 5 years of playing, which is one of the reasons why I started this series, it's just really humorous when you have players get really salty with you in chat. And honestly, I get to this point where I laugh it off anymore. I rarely get like really worked up and upset unless someone's just being, you know, completely unreasonable and irate, so to speak. So, so not only is this just a naughty or nice. It's actually both, if you will, okay? And the reason why I say it's both is because it wasn't like the Akazuki let me hang out to dry, so to speak. Like, he actually kind of like said, no, he didn't like run away, so to speak. So he kind of like stands up for me as a fellow teammate, as a fellow player, because me and Akazuki have been working together really well. So he's been seeing what I'm doing. I don't know what the Bismarck was even like looking at when he just decided to suicide in. So you have a little bit of the naughty and nice mix up there. So we really move away from the naughty in the chat now to more the nice. So just really complimenting the Akazuki, and even though, yes, I was the secondary kill there, but like we've been working in tandem this whole time, and it's really great when you have that recognition where I see what the Akazuki player has been contributing, and he sees what I've been contributing. So we complement each other there. And then the other thing that's been happening is this HMS Kolsek up to the north. He killed the enemy DD, I think it was the Angela Merkel. That's what I always call it. I don't even know how to try to attempt to pronounce that one in German or whatever. Yeah, correct way of pronouncing it. And so we're just going to go ahead and give the Bismarck some plays poorly, but also complimenting the Kolsek because he has been tying, even though he lost both his teammates up there, he has been holding out his own. He's already got 2 kills. He's been torturing the Atlantico, so doing great up there. And then you can see the Akazuki teammate, you know, talking about he took the scenic route, wanted to swoop in last minute. Yeah, and wonders why team didn't fully support. Lol. So now we're just both recognizing what the Kolsek player is doing. I've been kind of like trying to get into and talk about here as we pick up the high caliber, and we're going to compliment him as well. So it's nice. That's most kind of the things I was looking forward to the series, because I already had it in my mind. Like, it might not always just be naughty or only nice, but it also could be both. So that's kind of like the teaser with today's naughty or nice series, is that you can have both, right? I think probably as a whole, you see a lot more naughtiness happening in chat, and how turns players respond, behave, blame team, you know, whatever. You know, you can also have these nice moments where it's actually some good stuff happening in the chat, and just players recognizing, hey, you did a really good move there. Even sometimes it's complimenting enemy team, like, hey, that was a nice shot you did there, good play by you, didn't expect you to be there, this, that, and the other. So with that being said, it's 153,000 damage with close quarters and high caliber, getting the 2 kills in the 1 Citadel on the handhold there after he had gone dark, in picking that off. So angle, boys. If you're in a battleship, angle if there's an enemy battleship shooting you. So as it is, Kolsek top place, definitely should be that. He definitely deserves that, and we take second. And very close is the Akazuki with his contribution in helping defend and kill that enemy DD player. And then here's a breakdown with the potential damage and damage received. And secondary damage was 28,000. So most of our damage came out of the main battery, which totally makes sense when you have Anhalt going broadside to you. 87,000 damage to him. That was mainly just main battery damage alone to him. And with premium account, I don't think I was running a green credit booster that I remember. But I'm grinding now, and I can buy the Los Andes on the EU. So like this ship line's really good, and this is actually a pretty decently strong tier 8 ranked battleship. So I've been quite enjoying it. So that is today's Naughty or Nice video for this week. So I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. And until next time, take care.